with it. No more of the onion. All right. Cheerleading for this was published today. Oh my god. For terrorism, Twitch star called for new 9/11, dismissed horror of October 7th. 4-minute video.
Oh my God. Well, Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Dog, if Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, America is the top terrorist organization, which it is, by the way. America is the top dog in terrorism, and so is Israel. It doesn't even matter. None of this justifies that Palestinians have a right to dignity, a right to emancipation, a right to live free lives, free from this occupation. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people that can't.
Damn, it's just gonna be 4 minutes of Hasan's greatest hits, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh, that's bad.
Like, no, Hamas unironically is the lesser evil of the two.
Keep in mind that one of the big things that he was, one of his big things talking about this was that, oh, well, they're only getting all these, you know, like little bitty nothing, you know, outlets to cover this. You know, they're like, nobody big is covering this because nobody cares. That nobody cares. Now we got Fox News covering it, and it's probably only a matter of time until like an outlet like CNN or MSNBC, probably not MSNBC, maybe. But I could see CNN covering this in like the very near future because of this. Oh, dude.
If you look at the civilian casualties, if you look at the civilian deaths versus the deaths of soldiers, Hamas's percentages are infinitely better than Israel. That's just facts.
He's the leader of Hezbollah, the general secretary of Hezbollah.
What's Hezbollah?
Hezbollah
Is that small guy?
Hezbollah is this is the same name.
Okay.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization that is also a part of the Lebanese parliament.
Do we like them or no?
I think as a resistance group, they're pretty successful against Israel.
Oh.
But everybody...
God, the framing of them as a resistance group. Like, they're not a resistance group against Israel. They're a terrorist group. If they were only a resistance group against Israel, then you would only hear about them doing shit to Israel. But guess what? They're in Syria, right? Killing a bunch of Arabs over there. They're not only killing Israelis, they're killing Arabs over in Syria, helping the Assad regime who gassed their own civilians. Like, bro, this is... Imagine being that normie streamer. Here's what I don't understand. I don't even know who the guy is, but I see him in every single one of these really bad Hasan clips, right? And at a certain point, if you're a normie and you have someone who is sitting there, like he was put on Israeli media watching Houthi music videos, quote unquote, or terrorist propaganda, you know, and you know, he's just sitting there watching it, and they're talking about anti-Semitic streamers, and he's the only face on screen because Hasan decided to stand up and just walk away. At a certain point, when do you just say like, hey man, hey, maybe we're still friends, but like you're actually like killing my career right now. You're actually like actively hurting my career because you're like, I'm being seen in all these videos of you doing crazy shit. Like, at what point do you say that to your friend?
Case them. Like, everybody in the region, a lot of people don't like them. Like,
I like what you speed it up.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say. They're Shia.
Does he know what One Piece is?
اول شيء بقول لك انه ممكن هذا السؤال
Terrorist.
شوي اهبل بس بسالك تعرف شو هو ون بيس عم بسمعك بون بيس
اكيد
Okay, we've seen all these clips. First on Fox, a popular Amazon-owned video platform geared towards teenagers and young adults is filled with extremist content, including one of its biggest stars praising terrorist groups and even blithely calling for another 9/11 to his 2.8 million strong audience, according to a Fox News digital review. Hasan Piker, who has millions of followers on Twitch, has broadcast propaganda from Yemen's Houthis, framed violent terrorist acts as resistance, expressed sympathy for extremist groups who target civilians, and downplayed the October 7th, 2023 attacks against Jews in Israel. Piker's shocking diatribes are among the most popular on the video game streaming platform, which allows viewers to listen to their favorite personalities opine on topics ranging from pop culture to current events while playing video games. When you find yourself agreeing with Fox News and don't take the slightest moment to think of that implication, if Fox News said that the sky was blue, I would probably agree with them. Like, this exact same framing is something that I've been saying for a while, that a lot of people have been saying for a while, before this Fox News thing came out. It has nothing to do with, oh, I trust Fox News like as a source now, right? Hezbollah cares about Arabs. Hezbollah rockets hits Israeli Arab city, killing a woman. So they got 1 Israeli and 10 Arabs. Let's see here. Oh no, Nick Pohl. He's being shown in the Fox News article too. Oh man, is it just all the quotes that we know? Is there anything else? Oh my god, this is a long article. Oh shit. And they had a picture of Dan Clancy. Oh shit. And Twitch has not publicly addressed Piker's comments, but in a 2023 interview with Bloomberg News, Twitch's CEO Dan Clancy acknowledged being a fan of the streamer. I like the frankness and bluntness, Clancy said. He's comfortable saying what he believes. In a statement, oh no, he gave Fox News a statement. He gave Fox News a statement, bro. Oh shit. Just don't respond to it. If you don't want people to see it, if you don't want people to... He has like the worst mind for PR ever, dude. This isn't about the sky being blue. It's about you thinking every brown militia group as terrorist. I never said that. And when you watch the right-wing frame wing that doesn't care about context and adds it anyway... I have seen all of these clips in their full context. It doesn't make them better. Unless you know of an extended cut of any of these clips that changes the context in any meaningful way. Like when he talks about I remember him complaining during the...
That is
Let me find it.
Region.
what if you...
Israel. If you look at the... Can't contend with, no, Hamas, unironically, is the lesser evil of the two. If you look at the civilian casualties, if you look at the soldiers...
He's the leader of Hezbollah, the general secretary.
Where is the one where he... What's Hezbollah?
Hezbollah
is that small guy?
Hezbollah is...
Terrorist organization that Palestinians have a right to dignity, a right to emancipation, a right to live free lives, free from this occupation. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7th. That doesn't...
This clip right here. This is the extended cut of this clip. This is the extended cut of this clip. They said that, oh, it was so dishonest of people to cut this clip where he says it doesn't matter if rapes happened, right? Because afterwards he says it doesn't change, even if rapes happen, it doesn't change the dynamic even that much for me, he said. He responded? Oh, cool. 1 second. But at a certain point, listen, what Hasan represented before the October 7th attack was hyper progressive kind of guy, kind of dips his toes into the hyper progressive woke stuff and dips his toes into the super tanky stuff. He kind of dipped his toes into both of those things. He didn't really commit one way or another to being all one way or all the other. But post October 7th, right? The language around known terrorist groups is just way too supportive. Way too supportive, Why the fuck would rape justify genocide and an ethnic displacement? Well, I never said that it would. But saying because even if you want to take the framing of genocide and ethnic displacement, right? Oh, Jimmy D, you're in a bad place, okay? You're in a bad place, okay? Because if you're gonna sit there and you're going to like defend and say like, oh well, these guys, well, like what they're doing is they're trying to fight against the Israeli occupation. Like you're looking at one side of the issue. Like both the Palestinians and the Israelis have like legitimate reasons to hate each other. All right, they do. Like over the course of the history over there since the late 1800s or like until the inception of Israel and post that. All right, was just like violence both ways, like constantly. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. Well, I guess like, well, let's just take it from, let's just look at it from your perspective. A bunch of Jews went over there. They just started killing everybody and raping and pillaging and doing everything over there. They didn't really have any reason to do that. They just like went over there and started killing, and they've just like been killing and nobody's called them out on it over the entire history of the 80 years of Israelis like existence. Like if that's the framing that you're giving. That's the framing that you're giving. There's a false narrative? No. Since the Zionist movement, there was like violence, I think beginning in like the early 1900s, like in the 20s, before like Israel was ever like fully promised a state over there. Well, I guess the 20s would have been post World War I. So I guess like in the early, like before that, because I know before even the remind me the name of the promise the British gave the Jewish dude. I can't remember the name of it. But Jews and Arabs lived in peace for a long time, but like since like they were trying to like actively move away from when they started actively moving away from Europe because of guess what, anti-Semitism, and they started moving over there. Guess what? A bunch of people started fighting over there. Chill out, Corey. All right. You're putting words in a chatter's mouth. I'm literally reading the like exact words that they're saying. And look at the company you keep. Yeah, I don't think that you should do that. Okay. Balfour. It's Balfafore. Balfour. No E at the end. Declaration. Yeah. That's around the time where like things started like really heating up. But even before that, they were fighting with each other. There was Arab on Jew violence, Jew on Arab violence, and like ultimately, like the history doesn't matter all that much. It matters in terms of like understanding where both sides are at, but like in terms of like going forward, it doesn't. Oh, I didn't mean to click it. Please don't play. Thank you. It doesn't really matter. Like here's the base take. Israel like probably needs to stop in like yesterday their operation in Gaza. It obviously doesn't have any more military. There's like no military objective that they're seeking at this point. Like they're rapidly trying to hunt down every Hamas supporter, but it's not gonna work out. Like I don't think any reasonable person thinks that. The Palestinians need someone who's going to try and lead a peaceful movement. They haven't had a peaceful movement leader the entire history of the Palestinian resistance movement. Israel probably needs they need a leadership change like crazy. But like, if you're just gonna like sit there and say like, oh well, like Hamas and Hezbollah are like understandable. No, at a certain point, I don't understand it. Okay, can I ask why it's not okay to play a game with hummus? Because you're raking people based off of their ethnicity or perceived ethnicity, and in the other one, you're comparing the words that they say, the things that they do. You know what he says they were perfect? You're just disingenuous. Did I say that they need to be perfect? I said that they need to be peaceful. They need someone who's going to go in there, like white moderate me all you want, like, but they need like a Martin Luther King. They need someone who's going to go in there and like actually get shit done in a peaceful way. And like when you're going around and you're blowing people up at music festivals, guess what? You don't get a lot of sympathy on the world stage. If you want sympathy for your cause, probably don't go around and just like, and I don't know, maybe it's because I saw a bunch of the videos that happened on October 6th, right? Like, the one that like sticks in my mind is grandma and 3 children at a bus stop, and then a Toyota pickup truck pulls up next to them, and 3 dudes just unload AKs on them. Just kills a grandma and 3 kids who are waiting at the bus stop. At a certain point, I don't really give a what happens to anyone in Hamas. I don't think that there's any justification for anyone that gave an order that said, hey, go out there and kill as many fucking people as possible. We're doing a terrorist attack. Corey, you're going unhinged. I'm timing you out for 5 minutes, okay? If you continue to be unhinged in chat, then it will be an hour. And if you continue to be unhinged, then it will be a day. Actually, you know what? After 3, I think that I'd probably just ban you. Like, please, for the love of God, you gotta take a hint. Never break from your occupier. Maybe don't kill civilians like grandma and children standing at a bus stop, Jimmy D. Like, do you think that that's acceptable in any way, shape, or form? Grandma and 3 children? Unsubbing 17 months done by... Wait, what happened? Oh, okay, got you. Now I see who it was. Yeah, I didn't know that. You need to chill the fuck out, okay? But like the Lamal never break from your occupier. What it take? Did I ever say that? Like, do I? It doesn't even feel like you understand what my full take is. But I'm not gonna get stuck. Kick sub gone. Are you actually mad because I timed you out for 5 minutes, CDN? Jesus Christ. It was a 5-minute. No, I said if you like continue to do it like after I time you out for like an hour and then you come back from an hour, I would probably just permaban you for not taking a hint. Jesus Christ. You see where you went wrong, Sonzo, is that grandma and her children were settlers. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Like, if I can say, like, I felt particularly disgusted seeing, you know, a 70-year-old woman and 3 children under the age of 15 get mowed down at a bus stop, and then someone says, like, never break from your oppressors. Like, I don't know. What smoke did I have for Palestine? I didn't say anything about Palestine. Palestinians have a right to have their territory. Gaza and West Bank need to have all settlements taken out of them, or like land swaps need to be done so that they can have their own independent nation. And I think that like the way that Israel goes about doing like literally everything in regards to the Palestinians is abhorrent in every single way. Like, I don't know what the like, but like your brain is so stuck in this. Oh, well, if you're not like sitting there like making every excuse in the world for actual terrorist organizations, then like you're obviously on the side of the IDF bombing the out of the entirety of the Gaza Strip. Did I say that at any single point in this entire conversation? Absolutely not. But that's what you're hearing because you're not hearing the actual words that I'm saying. I think that the Palestinians have a right to self-determination within their borders, right? We have the West Bank, we have Gaza, right? There's probably like, in order for like some kind of realistic thing to happen, like there's probably going to have to be some land swaps. There's probably going to have to be some movement of settlements out of areas so that the Palestinians can take over those areas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's like the real shit, okay? But like at the end of the day, yeah, Palestinians need to stop getting bombed from the IDF. At the end of the day, the Hamas needs to cease as an entity because they are hurting the Palestinian people more than the Palestinian people want. So Israel's not going to do that. How are they going to get their sovereignty? Again, like you like sympathetic movements get shit done, right? Like, but when you have terrorists as the head of your resistance movement, right? If you're no longer a sympathetic, like the world stage isn't going to go out there and say like, oh, well, you know what? Like, yeah, well, I mean, like Hamas, yeah, they might have done some rapes and they might have like, you know, killed grandma and the 3 kids at the bus stop. And they might have just like gone into the music festival and just started blasting. But you know what? Like Israel has been pretty mean to them for a while. Like, no, nobody's got to look at that action and say like, well, obviously now we got to give them what they want. What is this?
Israel's military said it's hit more than 1,000 targets.
Oh my God, it's 18 minutes long.
The attack.
To Hasan, he was taught from this guy about politics. I don't know what the fuck that sentence means. They stated they got the job done. Yeah, what they did was piss off Israel and made like at the end of the day, why the fuck do you think that the average Israeli is terrified of Palestinians? Is because they have like a long history of supporting terrorist movements that go in and bomb Israelis. Yeah, there are reasons that the average Israeli probably is scared to death of anyone in the West Bank or Gaza. All right, like you can only think about this from one side of the. No, it's not propaganda. Literally, like what? How many? I don't even remember the number. Like 1,000 something Israelis were killed. It's literally propaganda. You question the numbers, like you question the numbers of how many Jews were killed on October 7th. It was all just propaganda. None of those people died. They're just like, they just sent them on a like long vacation to the Bahamas. What propaganda? What the f are you talking about? Can you please tell me what I said that was propaganda or what I'm watching that is propaganda? Because what I said right before you said propaganda was about October 7th. And then you said propaganda. That's why I'm responding in the way that I am. Okay, we're not going to get caught up on this because it's going to trigger the absolute living out of me. Jesus Christ. Nobody can be reasonable. The like crazy the crazy people on one side are like, yes, we need to bomb all of Palestine and wipe them off the planet, and then the opposite side are like, yeah, no, like Israel doesn't have a right to exist. We need full ratification. Like nobody cares about either side of this. Well, actually, I would say that the Israelis and, you know, like Jewish people probably do have a bit more of a stake in it than the average Westerner supporting Palestine. But like you people, like they're like, you're not advocating for anything that will ever affect you, right? Israelis hate Palestinians due to propaganda. I would probably say that it's due to the history over the past 8 decades of like terrorist attacks coming out of the West Bank and Gaza. And I would say that the Palestinians probably hate Israelis because of the fact that, you know, over the past 80 years, they took over that land and they've been fighting for the past like 100 years, like of their occupation of Gaza. Wait, what please, there must be like some massive delay because you're replying to stuff that I don't even know what you're replying to. Like, put a quote that I'm saying so that I know what the f you're responding to, because I don't even know anymore. All right.
They lent merit to that argument by specifically targeting civilians, by specifically murdering them, torturing them, and parading them around in those videos in the worst possible ways imaginable.
If you wanted to help the occupation last longer, you would have done exactly this.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. You guys are so smart. You figured it out. Oh, well, we'll butcher more than they do. We'll oppress more than they do. And then what? The world will trust you? Israel will trust you? Instead, all they're going to do for the rest of the time now is say there are no peace partners. And so it does. And by the way, look, I know, and Ben and I.
He's saying in a much more eloquent way what I was trying to get at. Like, if you go out and you like make your entire like movement around like we're going to kill all the Jews, like at a certain point, yeah, guess what? People aren't going to like you anymore. What about ancient history? They were fighting hundreds. Like that literally does not have any bearing on what's happening now, Shane. Sorry.
Make that argument, right? They lent merit to that argument by specifically targeting civilians.
You stand on business, then you would say exactly what I'm saying and what it seems like Cenk is about to say here, that like, oh, congratulations, Hamas. Like you've just like given them license to go in and blow up all of Gaza. If you actually cared about this, you would actually try and like, you know, make yourself a sympathetic movement that like wasn't going out and we're going to butcher more than you guys do. Like it's like caveman mentality. Oh, we're going to kill as many of them as they killed of us, and then we'll finally be free. Like at the end of the day, that's just like not true. It's just not. It's going to happen.
Specific.
Like plus the fact that like Iran is Hamas's biggest backer, and Iran doesn't seem to give a fuck about Hamas. They love Hezbollah, but they hate Hamas, or they don't hate Hamas. They just don't care about it enough to actually give them anything that would put them on par with the Israeli military. Like, they give them like shitty little bombs that like can't even target, and so they just get blown up in the sky.
Murdering them, torturing them, and parading them around in those videos in the worst.
It's called the PLO. Well, that's because the PLO was like ultra fractured for a long time, and they haven't really like come together. And they're also like really corrupt, right? Like, they need someone who's going to go in there, be a peace advocate, and not be a corrupt piece of shit. That's on the PLO. Like, the movements have massive problems, right? Like, if you're a leftist, then you should probably have a lot of problems with a lot of the leftist movements in the United States, because they don't stand on business, because they're not actually getting anything done. They're not starting out on a grassroots level, trying to get any kind of electoral wins. They're not trying to do anything except for virtue signal. This is what Hamas is doing. They're virtue signaling, but their way of virtue signaling is using AK-47s.
Possible ways imaginable.
If you wanted to help the occupation last longer, you would have done exactly this.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Posted a year ago.
You guys are so smart. You figured it out. Oh, well, we'll butcher more than they do. We'll oppress more than they do. And then what? The world will trust you? Israel will trust you? Instead, all they're going to do for the rest of the time now is say there are no peace partners. And so it does. And by the way, look, I know, and Ben and I,
Nobody said that they formed in a vacuum. I'm saying that they formed, and then they took over, and then they like have been over the Palestinian cause for probably the past 3 decades. Yeah.
Glebe and I discussed it yesterday, that when you have a situation where people are occupied, depressed, etc., it is not a great place for moderates. Unfortunately, people wind up clinging to radicals, right? And I know it's super unrealistic, especially as they get pounded now by Israel. But if ever there was a time for Palestinians to turn around and say, no, not you morons, someone else, someone that could actually help us, someone that could actually get the peace, someone that could actually create an environment where we could raise a family in peace and prosperity instead of constantly being worried about getting bombed and occupied, etc. Can we find one smart person, to and
holy
rally around them? If you're a Palestinian in terms of the diaspora, spend all your money, all your energy, all your resources on finding decent representation of your people, so that you're not represented by these monstrous idiots of Hamas.
Yeah, that's like literally, that's my entire take right there. It's said in a much more eloquent way. Not gonna lie. It's exactly that. Okay, we're moving off of the Israel-Palestine thing. Okay, wait, hold on. I want to see the Hasan response, and then we're moving off of it. Okay.
Unleashed a profanity-laden try.
Because and this is why we're moving off of it. So they should just sit back and get up then, because you want the perfect victim. You know, in a roundabout way, you're kind of getting it. Yeah. When Martin Luther King was fighting for the civil rights movement, they didn't say pull up with all your rifles and shit. They said, hey, we're going to go out there and you're going to get beat the shit out of. You're going to get sprayed with fire hoses. They put them through like basically torture training before every major march for the people that were going to be at the front of the march. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, because they wanted to be seen as victims, because they were victims of the system. Yeah, no shit. And guess what? That worked, because at a certain point, people saw people sitting at, what's bad faith at there? I didn't say that it was bad faith. Oh, you're talking to SL Icon. But like at the end of the day, when people saw like just some black kids sitting at the ice cream counter and people pouring milkshakes on their heads and spitting on them and beating the shit out of them because they sat at a counter, not doing anything to anyone, trying to pay for their food, not like fighting back whatsoever, and getting their shit kicked in on the ground. Guess what? That led to a lot of sympathy for the civil rights movement. When people went out there and they were marching, using their First Amendment civil rights that were granted by the founders, all right? They had little signs like civil rights, emancipation, blah, 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 blah. Like, guess what? They got dogs launched on them. They got sprayed with fire hoses. They got beat the shit out of. Some of them died. And guess what? It led to more sympathy for the civil rights movement. And guess what? That ended up being effective. Yeah, because like I'm for effective things for people who are being oppressed.
Streaming unleashed a profanity-laden tirade against justifying Hamas's invasion. Wait, what? Justifying Hamas's invasion. If they subjugated you to an open-air prison your whole life, you're going to break out eventually when you realize that there's no other way to get out of it. Do you think that this happened out of nowhere? Do you think...
See, that's the other thing. Like, when
of,
you realize there's no other way to get out of it. Like, there hasn't been a legitimate, like, long-term project of trying a peaceful movement to get their, you know, get their, like, borders recognized by Israel. There hasn't been one of those. They either become a militant organization or the militant organizations that do form get more popular because the other ones are corrupt and don't get anything done because they just like corrupt dudes that are sitting in Qatar or Qatar or however you say it.
Thin air? Are you stupid? Do you think the Israeli state was just like peacefully coexisting?
It was peaceful until Hamas started like getting people to go out there and like start stirring shit. That would have been like a really good example. Yes. But Hamas went in and they f***ed it up. Hamas has f***ed up every single thing for the Gazans since like before I was born. When did Hamas take power? Hamas. Let's just go to their Wikipedia page. Wikipedia Andy here. When did they take over? Oh, since 2007. I thought that they were there since like the 90s. Wait, when did it? Oh, it was founded in 87. What do I feel like they were doing shit in the 90s? Or am I thinking of a different group? I must be thinking of a different group. Yeah, but like since 2007. It was peaceful. No. Jimmy, that like it was peaceful, but then there were like a couple of people who were part of Hamas or like were goaded on by Hamas militants to go over there with like fire bombs and shit. Like that did happen. Now I don't have like a perfect memory of the entire situation around the March of Return. But it started off as a peaceful thing. Hamas went in there and did a couple of things. It gave the IDF a license to start shooting. Yeah, like it started off peaceful. It did not remain peaceful. The firebombs started before the shooting did.
These guys came in gliders out of nowhere. That's not a nice way to explain what I was talking about. I never justified it. Analysis is not justification, but of course this is Fox News, so I love that they clip chimp my ass.
We're gonna move off of this. Sorry, I was reading chat.
Israeli state was just like peacefully coexisting. These guys came in gliders out of nowhere. That's not a nice way to explain what I was talking about. I never justified it. Analysis is not justification, but of course this is Fox News, so I love that they clip chimp my ass.
They don't clip chimp. None of those were clip chimped. Those were like your own words, and there was no context immediately after or before that would have changed literally any of the clips. I mean, granted, we only watched the first, like half of it? Like, let's see. Because there have been some that I said, okay, well, this is like a little bit bad faith to clip this one. But like this entire interview was like, I still cannot believe that people defend this interview. Like, he posts and he has said that he is a like Houthi militant, and then he tries to pretend like he's just like a kid who's just like out there, and he's just like a pretty face that happens to be able to go onto the boats that the Houthis have taken over. And then he also is like, dude, it's like Rust when they're like taking over the boats. Look at this, they're on a helicopter. Yeah, there's dudes with guns on the helicopter. Like, you're like we need such better representation for even leftists. Like I say I hate leftists, but again, like it's the leftists I see online. I know so many leftists IRL that are like the chillest most reasonable people ever that we just like have like some disagreements on, right? Like someone who is like a more like blue dog Democrat than I am, I might have disagreements with them, but like ultimately, like, yeah, I mostly agree with like most of what you're saying. I can be friends with you. Even like some conservatives that aren't like batshit crazy like Trump supporters, like there's like some common ground and some things that we can get there, right? And you're not like a completely like terrible person. But like the online left has the worst representation of all time, and until leftists either decide like these people are giving them a bad name, or they accept more voices within the left. I used to be a leftist, okay, and then when I started questioning some little aspects around the edges of it, I got ass blasted out of the communities that I was a part of, just like completely like shot out of it. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm so sorry, Varlock. I am so sorry. There's still time to save you. The Palestinians did not kill anybody during the March of Return. There were rocks thrown and a couple of Molotov cocktails, which in my opinion, especially an occupation, isn't a reason to start murdering. If someone has a Molotov cocktail and they're throwing it at you, I'm sorry, you get to like fire back at them. Okay, if they have a deadly weapon, if someone has a deadly weapon and they're like lobbing it at you, I'm sorry, you get to shoot back. All right. Now I don't know how far, like again, because I haven't read, like I read about the Great March of Return like November of last year, so it's been a full year, right? There's rules to occupation, right? Yeah, and Israel has probably broken them. But that doesn't mean that like Hamas and Hezbollah and all the terrorist organizations haven't also broken rules around like both morality and like international law themselves, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're looking at it through one hyper-specific lens of like, well, obviously the Israelis are doing bad things. Yeah, but like everyone over there is doing bad things. Someone needs to like there have been instances of Israeli like leadership, maybe not at the very, very top, but I think one person at the very, very top. Nobody says that? Okay, when you say, this is the last thing I want to say on this, because I desperately want to move on from this, because we're never going to agree on this, because I hate the extreme sides of both of these. There is no reasonable conversation to be had with you on this. Not because you're an unreasonable person, but because you're not hearing the words that I'm saying. Like literally, you're not hearing the words or the implications of the words. You're like taking a completely different implication from them than what I'm actually saying to you. Okay, when you say, when there were a couple of rocks thrown and a couple of Molotov cocktails, even if there's an occupation, it isn't a reason to start murdering. At a certain point, like, yeah, if a Molotov cocktail is being thrown at you, yeah, you get to start firing back, okay? And when I say like, wait, what was it even that I said that you said nobody says that to? Like what did I just say? I'm so sorry. I've been so triggered by the Jimmy D guy that I've completely neglected to look at Twitch chat. I am once again asking, is the Houthi kid a confirmed militant? Yes, someone asked him on Instagram and he commented. They asked him if he was, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was a very direct question asking about the, like, whether or not he was like part of the militant organization of the Houthis. And he was like, of course. Yeah, like he confirmed it himself. Yes, he is. I just want people to stop dying. Well, that's not going to happen until like, what we need is like, because the Republicans aren't going to do this. Donald Trump isn't going to do this. We need a Democrat to come into office who is going to have more of a backbone to like draw a red line at what activities Israel is allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do when fighting against people that are lobbing rockets at them. And we need a Palestinian leader who is going to come out and actually be for peace and actually be that voice of reason and be like radically pacifist to show the Palestinian movement for what it is, like a sympathetic cause, right? But unfortunately, the people that are the biggest, names in the Palestinian movement are like the craziest, most militant people in the entire world. Okay. Netanyahu is very happy Trump is in. Yeah. I mean, did y'all see the, wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find this clip on Twitter. Mike Huckabee. Unhinged. I think it was from a couple of years ago, though, but I think it's right here.
My feelings personally.
Translate post. Yeah. When was this from? 2017. Okay, like, this is who he put in charge as ambassador. This is who he put in as ambassador to Israel, okay? This is what the Muslim communities in Dearborn, Michigan voted for.
My feelings personally, and I'm speaking only as a person, I think Israel would only be acting on the property it already owns. I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use.
One second. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to import some leaders to Palestine, and I'm on the Palestinian side. Well, I don't think, like, I understand what you're saying. I don't think that would ever work because, like, if you're importing someone over there, then they're not going to see them as, like, being, part of the movement,
There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's
Yeah, I'm about to start it.
There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
That they get out of their
This is the guy that that we're going to have as our ambassador. Snapping. Oh, yeah, sorry. I still have it. Yeah. This is the guy we have that's going to be our ambassador. Listen to it one more time while I set up this short stream. Okay.
My feelings personally, and I'm speaking only as a person, I think Israel would only be acting on the property it already owns. I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use. There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
that they get out of their minds that people are living in lean-tos and tents, and sleeping in cars, circled around a tree. They're living in very well-designed and beautiful cities and communities. Can't wait to get back. I'm going to take an extra hat. I'm going to get it to President-elect Trump. Build Israel great again. Who knows? We may see him wear this out there in one of his rallies somewhere. I don't know. Can't promise that. I can only promise he will get a copy of the hat. Thank you very much.